Day one of Giants OTA practice is in the books today. I've got all the storylines right here. Let's go. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. And today we're going to be going over everything that happened in day one of New York Giants OTAs. We got a bunch of storylines to go over with you guys, and also I'm going to be doing joining this video with the camp battle, so stick to the end and I'm going to go through the best camp battles in OTAs. I usually do a video dedicated to this, but I just figured I just put this in day one because there's not a lot of information in day one, so I'll just put this in one video. The first thing we'll start off in every single OTA practice video this year is going over the offensive line arrangements and seeing how they're changing throughout the days. Right now on day one, it seems like the offensive line is as follows: Thomas at left tackle, left guard Jermaine Illuminor, that one's interesting, center JMS, right guard John Runyon Jr., and right tackle Evan Neal. Now, if you ask me, this is the most ideal offensive line grouping. The only X factor is Evan Neal. If Evan Neal is not good, I want him on the bench and Jermaine Illuminor to start. I'd rather take my chances with anyone else at guard and put Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle, or even try Evan Neal at guard. But if Evan Neal can hold his own at right tackle, I'm fine with wherever you put Jermaine Illuminor as long as he starts. Putting Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle and putting somebody like Josh Ezeudu at left guard is something that I am not shooting down yet. I think that is a good possibility. Evan Neal has a lot to prove in these OTAs. Now, a pretty surprising story, Daniel Jones is already back. Now, he's not back 100%. You guys know he's coming off that ACL tear in, I believe, October, November, late in the season last year, and he was also dealing with a neck injury before that, two of his biggest injury concerns in his career. Seems like he's working his way back on time and probably ahead of schedule, as he was doing individual drills along with 7-on-7, and also threw a touchdown pass to Devin Singletary. He also completed some passes to Wan'Dale Robinson and even Malik Nabers, who worked with both the first and second team. Nabers was pretty impressive, whether he was receiving passes from Daniel Jones or Drew Lock. Someone who I really think is going to do a great job in OTA and training camp practices is rookie Andrew Phillips, the slot corner out of Kentucky. Similar to Darnay Holmes when he was drafted out of UCLA in 2020, he was one of the best corners on the entire field in his rookie season during OTA and training camp practices. He had like an interception all the time. He had fumbles. He had takeaways. He was responsible for a lot of takeaways. He had good coverage skills. These two players are very similar in that respect. They have great coverage skills. They're small. They're shifty. They break on the ball pretty quickly. That's something that I think, similar to Darnay Holmes, Andrew Phillips is going to have a good OTA practice and good training camp practices, but we have to see what happens on the field on game days, as the biggest concern to me is still the tackling. So let's see if he works on that during during training camp, but I have no doubt Andrew Phillips is going to turn some heads in OTAs and training camp. I'm also seeing that Theo Johnson, the rookie tight end out of Penn State, is moving pretty well. He's pretty impressive to see on the field. I think he caught a couple passes. Nothing crazy yet, as they're still kind of just running routes and doing all that kind of stuff. But Theo Johnson is working his way up there. It's going to be interesting to see where he falls on the depth chart for tight ends. We don't know what's going on with Darren Waller right now either. We had one interception on day one. It was from undrafted rookie Alex Johnson. Assuming that he's an undrafted rookie, I'm assuming he probably picked off Tommy DeVito. He's probably playing with third string, the third team. It was probably Tommy DeVito. I don't know. It didn't say who got picked off, but we had one interception from Alex Johnson, the DB out of, I believe it was UCLA. He also was a corner that had 5 interceptions just last year at college, so it's no surprise that he's picking the ball off pretty well at Giants practice. All right, so we're going to go over some camp battles. We'll just do this pretty quickly, as I was going to kind of dedicate a whole video to this, but why not just put it in day one, as there wasn't too much to talk about. We'll start to get a lot more news as the days go on, but let's go over some camp battles. Now, the biggest one by far, is who the hell is starting at the corner spots. We already know Deonte Banks is our number one corner right now, right? He's number one. We got to figure out who's going to be that number 2 corner. Who's going to be on the opposite side of Deonte Banks on the boundary? And also, nickelback corner, slot corner. Who's going to play slot corner? Now, we heard a lot of rumblings from Brian Daboll that Cordell Flott is a slot corner. They want him to be a slot ideally, but you guys know they've moved him outside, inside many times due to circumstances, so we don't know if Flott is going to be on the outside due to circumstances right now. So I say the biggest camp battle is probably that nickel corner spot where we're going to have Cordell Flott. We're going to have Andrew Phillips, who I think is going to be, the guy to beat there at the slot cornerback position. And then we also have Darnay Holmes, who is just fighting to stay on the roster at this point. But he has been one to take the job from Cordell Flott a couple of times last year. They rotated very frequently last year at that nickel position. And if Andrew Phillips, who I think is inevitably going to win that slot position, don't be surprised if you see Cordell Flott move to the outside and try to compete with Trey Hawkins and Nick McLeod there. I know they signed guys like, I forgot his name. They signed David Long Jr., the cornerback, not the linebacker, the cornerback, who is kind of a journeyman guy, not a guy that's going to get a lot of reps. I don't know if he's going to be competing for the starting outside corner spot, but I think right now it's slated to be Trey Hawkins and then Nick McLeod, who when he does come in there, pause. When he does play that second cornerback spot in relief for anybody, whether it be Adoree or whoever else was there, he plays pretty well. I don't know how Nick McLeod will respond to playing a full game at boundary corner. I don't know if he'll be picked on. I don't know if he'll get his groove going and get a rhythm and play well. I don't know, but when Nick McLeod plays, he plays pretty well. Next, I have running back. I don't think Devin Singletary is going to be going anywhere. I think he is the starting running back. I don't think anybody's going to do anything to change that. I think Brian Daboll, he loves Devin Singletary, even calls him by his nickname Motor a lot. So I think he's safe at the starting running back spot. But Tyrone Tracy Jr., who I made a video on, I'm so enthusiastic, so optimistic about Tyrone Tracy. I can't wait to see what he's going to do this season in his rookie year. But let's see how he competes with the rest of the running backs on the roster. You got Eric Gray, the 5th-round pick last year out of Oklahoma, who I wasn't too high on going into the season. He had some good runs last year, but he just doesn't have that oomph that we really need at the running back spot that Tyrone Tracy has. And we also have Gary Brightwell, who was like a 6th-round pick a couple of years ago back in the Dave Gettleman era out of Arizona, who I think is pretty good. I like Gary Brightwell. They just never give this guy a shot. I'm really anxious to see who gets in that pecking order, who lines up in that pecking order, who gets that running back 2 spot, running back 3, running back 4. And then we have the wild card, South Carolina running back Dante Miller, who the Giants quote unquote drafted, right? He was signed. He wasn't eligible to be drafted. His story is absolutely insane, but he adds an element of speed that nobody on this running back roster has. Nobody in the running back room has, not even Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy is fast, but not Dante Miller fast. He is the wild card in here. He might shake everything up if he impresses in OTAs and training camp. The next camp battle I have is right tackle. Yes, I know the Giants are going to try to sell you on Evan Neal is their guy. They're going to try to sell you on that throughout the entire training camp, but day one happens, you might just see a shift to Jermaine Illuminor, and they just get nervous about it. I don't trust Evan Neal yet. I know there's news already saying that he's working on his pass sets. He's working on all these other things. We see that every year from Evan Neal. I want to see improvement. We're not really going to see that until they put the pads on and they start doing 11 on 11s and things like that. We're not going to see much until that happens, but I think a legitimate camp battle is Jermaine Illuminor kind of creeping up on that spot at right tackle versus Evan Neal. With Illuminor's versatility, he can line up absolutely anywhere, so do not be surprised wherever he lines up. And the fourth camp battle I have is just wide receiver. It's an absolute free-for-all. Darius Slayton has yet to show up because he's in contract disputes between his agent and the New York Giants, trying to get him a contract extension, as he was he led the Giants in receiving yards 4 out of 5 years he's been here, so he's just trying to get the money he deserves. But I'll tell you what, these young guns are going to be shining out there, man. These young guys are going to be out there burning on the field, doing what Darius Slayton does. Jalen Hyatt has that speed and has better hands than Darius Slayton, doesn't have the route running ability, but then you have Malik Nabers, who's also extremely fast, can line up on the outside and inside. If Darius Slayton doesn't show up soon, they might just say, we don't even need you. because the Giants also have Allen Robinson, who I don't know how much he's going to contribute. I don't know if this is going to be a good veteran signing or this is going to be like a Brendan Marshall type thing where, you know, Brendan Marshall kind of got plagued with injuries, but still, I mean, he just wasn't utilized in the offense as much. They had a hard time trying to use him in the offense. So that one's going to be interesting. Slot wide receiver, I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. I think Wan'Dale Robinson is our guy in the slot. You also have Isaiah McKenzie, who I think is a pretty damn good receiver. Just needs to get some time to get rolling as he was suspended last year. Wasn't able to show his talents with Indianapolis. He comes to the Giants, and so let's see what happens there. And let's not forget about Isaiah Hodgins, who the Giants brought back, and even Bryce Ford Wheaton, who suffered an injury last year, had to be put on injury reserve, wasn't able to play. But Bryce Ford Wheaton is a sleeper. He's another guy that can shake up this wide receiving core should he perform well in OTAs and training camp, and maybe even carrying over into the preseason. But he's a burner on the outside that has some height to him that could challenge a spot at the wide receiver position. And the last camp battle we have is Malik Nabers versus Graham Gano. And that's just the battle for the number 9. I don't know if Malik Nabers is going to keep number 9. I think it's growing on me. I don't know if it's because I'm looking at it so much that I'm just seeing Malik Nabers in number 9. I thought I wasn't going to like it too much. I like Malik Nabers in number 9. I really want him in 88. I really want Malik Nabers being the next receiver in 88 for the Giants, but that's obviously his decision and whatever numbers are available to him, so we'll see what happens. It's not much of a big deal, but Graham Gano is poking fun on Twitter, you know, talking about that he's the real number 9, and he's not letting Malik Nabers take this one, because remember, he also gave number 5 to Kayvon Thibodeau, so he doesn't want to now give his number to Kayvon Thibodeau and then give his number to Malik Nabers. It's just, every rookie just wants his number. I think that's hilarious, but I don't think he's going to let go of this one. But that is it, guys. That is everything that happened in day 1. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your favorite training camp battle going into this season? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!